So welcome to District 4. We are to the point with information and news. So we had to go in, we had to do some new rebranding. We had to check people on our logo because people were trying to go in and kind of get the channel, kind of make it their own or replicate the channel. So just so you'll know that this is the only channel that I have on YouTube now. So anything else, you're not going to get new content from me. I don't know what you're getting from these other people, but this is the one, this is the legit one. This is the one to follow. So we had to take care of that situation. We had some sort of, if you go back and look at the very first video I posted, it'll tell you the updates on what was happening. I kind of let everybody know what was going on all along, just so that we could let you know when we had, if and when we had to start a new channel. And we ended up having to do that, and here we are. Didn't take us too long, but we're glad about that. So not to give that too much power, so let's just move into what we're going to talk about. We're talking about top stories today, and we are talking politics because we have to talk about Donald Trump's two trials. Now, those of you that don't know it, these are actually two separate trials. We have the hush money trial, and then we have the federal executive immunity trial. Now, these are two separate trials, but the executive immunity trial obviously will affect the hush money trial. Now, just to break down executive immunity a little bit for people, executive immunity basically means in its simplistic form, what the president can do without getting prosecuted while he's in office, right? Or he or she is in office, right? Meaning Donald Trump at the time. So Donald Trump and his team is saying full immunity. You know, I'm the president. I'm going to have to do certain things, you know, some of them on the line, but I should not have to get prosecuted for that. I should not have to go to jail for that. I should not be committing a crime because I am, you know, the executive of the country. I mean, how am I supposed to, you know, basically representing us for the world? And of course, we have the other side, which is like the prosecutors are like, yeah, no. That would mean that you could commit murder legally as president and, you know, not even get in trouble for that because it's related to your job, quote unquote, right? So this is sort of the argument kind of going on. I'll break it down just a little bit because I want to make sure we kind of understand what's happening within these two trials. So starting with the hush money trial, we're going to cover just the things that we need to know to keep us up to date at this point. So we have to know that David Pecker, he's the National Enquirer's hub, for lack of a better description, and I'm just trying to laymanize it so that people can follow, for this campaign season of 2016. And this is when all of this happened and all of this hush money, these quote unquote hush money payments. Now, hush money meaning money paid to the adult film star. I know some of you are like, what? The adult film star, her name is Daniels. We think I would know that readily, right? I should know that right away, but I don't because guess what? My notes are not what they should be right now. Stormy Daniels. I remembered. Her name is Stormy Daniels. That should be in my notes, by the way. I'm just saying. So Stormy Daniels was given this hush money, or alleged hush money at this point, paid to her to sort of silence her while Trump was campaigning. The last thing you want when you're campaigning for president to come out, other than all the other stuff that came out about Trump, was that he's having sort of an affair on his wife, who's on the campaign trail with him, with an adult film star of all people. Now, this is no disrespect to adult film stars. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying the look of that for somebody that is running for president, especially for the first time, is probably not very good. So in order to sort of keep that situation, you know, quiet, to quote unquote hush it, they paid money. Now, you would say to yourself, well, okay, maybe I don't agree with her trying to keep her with him trying to keep her quiet, but if he wants to pay her money, he pays her money. But the problem is when you go into the books and you put it down as a legal charge. So it was misrepresented as what the payments actually were. because that's personal. So you really can't take any type of business money, campaign money, anything to do with your campaign, even personally, depending upon what it is and how you're doing it, to pay off someone to keep them quiet during your campaign. Ideally, when you're campaigning, everything should be able to just come out. It should be all revealing, for lack of a better description. Now, we all know the reality of the situation, and people are going to keep stuff quiet if you can. But if you list the payments as sort of legal payments, this becomes where we're at now and why this is a part of the court case. And why this became not part of a court case, but became a court case because of the way that it was listed and documented. It's documented as just legal payments, right? These are actually legit payments when they were really going to allegedly, because we have no ruling at this point, allegedly to this Stormy Daniels. Adult film star's name's just pop in my head. I don't know, but her name is Stormy Daniels. I do apologize. I am not disrespecting anybody in that industry. I'm just saying. Oh, I knew a girl named Misty Lake once. You know what I mean? Like the names are just random names. So anyway, so to make these payments to Stormy Daniels. Now, where the federal executive immunity trial comes in. So there's a lot going on with that, so to speak, right? So before we go too far into that, and we will get to that because it does apply somewhat to this case as far as the outcome of the case, as I stated earlier at the top. But I want to make sure we cover everything. So the 2016 election, this hush money cover-up incident happened. It happened, and according to the witness, in quotation marks, it was for these, sort of hush money payments to them, to Stormy Daniels. Please, again, I'm going to get in trouble for saying Honey Daniels every 5 minutes, but for Stormy Daniels. But the National Enquirer also has another part to this story. They also agreed, allegedly, that they were paid to write bad stories about the competitor or the opponent and continue to write consistently good stories about Trump. You actually cannot do this. It is illegal. And if it is true, it would have sort of gave him an unfair advantage and a disadvantage to the opponent. So that's another part of it. And then the third part of it is there was a $30,000 payment made, allegedly, to Trump's doorman to keep him quiet about the Stormy Daniels and Trump being together, or this sort of relationship that they were having. So they gave it to the doorman because maybe he's able to see, right, they can come in and out, he can see this. So allegedly he was paid this $30,000 to just basically be quiet and to not say anything. So that's the three elements that they're arguing, the prosecutors are, against, Trump being guilty, basically. And Trump is basically saying, his attorney is saying, listen, Trump didn't know anything about this stuff. He just, if they made them, and we are saying if, for lack of a better description, he didn't know about them. Now, the rest of the opening was a little unclear. I have to say that there was an attempt, quite possibly, to just confuse the jurors. Because this is a lot of information, and if you miss a little bit, you might see there's no harm in what he's doing, if you just kind of look on the surface. So if you're kind of unaware of the sort of elements that are happening and they're not made clear, it's easy to sort of blow it off like, you know what, so he had this affair. I'm not agreeing with the affair, but he, like I stated earlier, right, but you know what, whatever. So if you can kind of mix that in, and so the defense seemed like he was being confusing, like he didn't know what he was talking about, but it was very carefully crafted, right? He's doing that, possibly, because he wants people to maybe not think this is as harmful as the prosecution is claiming, right? For lack of a better description. So that's kind of where we're at. That's what we're doing with that. So the immunity, basically questioning whether or not, executive immunity, what does that mean? How much do you have of it? What is considered that? And whether or not Trump is guilty of maybe abusing that privilege, right? There should be some privileges, if you ask my opinion, to the president in some way. Maybe not to the extent that Trump is asking for, but somewhat. He has to do his job. And its job is a very unique job, and it's going to be different. And sometimes it may walk a fine line, quite possibly. Now, I'm not saying that it should. I'm not saying that it should cross a line. I'm just saying that, when it comes to question, there may be things that might happen. And we're not naive as the public to not know that, right? We understand that has to happen. Sometimes we're working with foreign countries. We're doing all kind of other stuff. So you have to give some sort of immunity, some sort of leeway. But to that extent, we don't know, because we don't want to turn it into sort of like a gangster thing where we have like mob bosses, exaggerating, but mob bosses running for president, and then all of a sudden, they get immunity for everything that they do. We don't want people going in there feeling like there's no consequence because you're president now. And so the fine line has to be walked when we're dealing with these types of situations. All right, so quick and to the point, right? We're going to do it. We're going to do kiss it. keep it simple, somewhat. So thank you so much. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Now more than ever. And make sure you check out our TikToks. We do have TikToks back. And a lot of people liked us on those as well. So thank you so much. And I will see you next time.